All right, guys, this is going to be a very casual video, but I think some of you are going to find some of your best trades in this video. I have never taught this before. What I was thinking about doing today, today's my R&D day on Wednesday. I don't do any type of emails or things with our members today. I just take a day off to just research the market, to find new ways for us all in the Trade Confident membership to make more money and make it in a wiser fashion. And I think I found something today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this to everyone publicly, and you guys will kind of just get a taste of what a future forecast looks like, which I do every Tuesday and Friday for our members. And it's today's pretty chill. When I pull out the pink sweater, guys, you know that we are in a pretty chill day. And I just made some coffee with my new espresso machine, and boy was I a complete noob the other day. I actually just shared this with the team. I ended up completely destroying my kitchen with a coffee machine I got. And so long story short, I've been telling you guys that I need to get more caffeine into my life because anyways, the more alert I am, it seems my creativity goes up a bit and I'm just more cognitively ready for the day, I guess. So I bought a coffee machine, and I ended up putting the cup underneath the steamer at full blast. And being the noob of never using one of these before, I don't know why I didn't think the cup was going to get hot, but it got really hot really quickly. So being a noob, I pulled it down and dropped the cup from the steamer on full throttle. Well, guess what? When that little steamer right there pulled up about a half an inch from the liquid there, it completely exploded. Now, all of you baristas out there watching this, you're probably looking at this and you're like, why in the world does this look like coffee and not milk? And why are you steaming in your cup and not the actual pitcher? Well, this noob had a really good idea of, once I've made my coffee and it gets cold and I've drank a little bit, the top of the frothing head is no longer there. And I said, I've got a brilliant idea. I'm just going to stick my coffee back underneath the steam wand to warm it up. And so I did, and the cup got extremely hot. I pulled it down, and then coffee just shot everywhere. So that's my experience with the new espresso machine, which I do like the machine. I do like it a lot, but I'm a complete noob to this. So anyways, made the coffee today. I have it here with me. It worked a lot better today, and nonetheless, we are here on R&D day, and I want to share something with you guys. Okay. Bitcoin moving back up to the descending resistance line of about 100 to 103. I think a lower high formation in the market is probable, although I do still think this bear flag is going to, sorry, that was a terrible drop there. I do think it's going to play out in the market. That's not what I want to share with you guys today. I want to share with you something else. I was talking to a member this morning, and we were talking about how to preserve wealth, and is there anything we can do right now to actually make money as the market goes down that doesn't involve implied leverage, trading derivatives or futures? So if you guys know, if you try to short Bitcoin on Coinbase, they're going to force you in the futures market to use an implied leverage. This can range from 2x to 2.5. Coinbase is all over the place. It's not consistent at all. I've checked some days it's below 2%. Some days you're at 2.4, 2.5. Okay, what I want to teach you guys today is an option to use the market cycle highs and low indicator, which you guys see here, as well as the Pro Trade Manager, to take some positions in the market. Sorry, my computer was reloading there. In the market to actually make money as Bitcoin goes back down. So let's look at something. First of all, we need to assess what are the options when it comes to making money in Bitcoin as the market is going down for Bitcoin? Well, we have a few options here that I want to share with you guys. The first one is BITI, called BITI. This is an inverse ETF for Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin, let's go like this and pull this over to the right side here. As Bitcoin is going down, okay, as Bitcoin saw a decrease here, this is going to be hard because I'm trying to pull this low here, but show you percentage-wise. As Bitcoin dropped about 20% from November 9th all the way down to about November 21st, 22nd, so 12-day period, let's say, it dropped 20%. If you happen to open a long position on an inverse Bitcoin ETF, BITI, instead of losing 20%, you would have made 24%. Okay? But it gets better. For those of my really risky members here, take a look at this. You can get into what's called SBIT. This is a 2x leverage. So look at the same height, the same pivot points that we're pulling here. If you take a look at this, instead of losing 20% in the overall market, you would have made 56%. Almost 3x. Okay, almost 3x, even though ProShares SBIT is regularly a 2x, maybe a little bit more. Okay. From past data, it looks more like a 2x, but there are times where you can push closer to 3x. Okay. So here is a strategy that I talked to one of our members about, and I'm like, I need to share this with everyone here, and I think you guys will like this. What you can do is whenever the market cycle highs and low indicator is showing you that you are in, let's go like this, and let me bring this down to one chart here to make this simple. When you guys are in the high greed, the extreme greed, and the max euphoria section here, this is where you want to start looking to dollar cost average into BITI or SBIT, the inverse correlated assets. Now, not only are you looking to take some exits around these top points because the market tops are probably in based off this metric, and the nice thing about this is we're not guessing. If it turns orange or red, it's pretty clear when it turns colors. So that's what I love about this. When we've seen this, we have seen the market pretty much every single time get back into the yellow, which is what we call neutral. Unless we're in a bear market, we go a whole lot further. So my thought was like, I think there's a lot of people out there that want to make money if the bear market has taken over, but also want to hold money in the market in case Jake Claver is right and we see XRP at 3 digits. You guys know he has a bet that XRP is going to be at 3 digits, $3.5 million bet that XRP is in 3 digits by the end of this year. He has said, and I watch almost all of his live streams, 99.999% chance that XRP will be 3 digits by the end of the year. Okay. When you hear that, when I hear that, it tells me I want to keep some exposure to at least XRP or maybe some of these ISO coins if the reverse carry trade plays out and XRP starts facilitating some of those transactions, and we have to see an elevated price for transactions of that amount to be processed through the XRPL. Okay. What you can do now, guys, is have your long-term positions, what we call legacy portfolios, which we have XRP and XLM in. What you can do in the meantime is if you believe the market is overextended, which I'll show you another example here in a moment, or you believe a bear market is coming, you can open up a long position on SBIT or BITI. Now let's go over and actually look at this on the exchange. I'm on my Kraken exchange here. If you guys come in here and you click BITI, remember you've got to get off spot and margin. You got to go over to stocks and ETFs. But when you click this, you are able to trade this on Kraken. You can trade this on Robinhood as well, but Kraken's a great place because that's where I have my funds. All right. You can also trade SBIT as well. And this is a double leveraged of the inverse ETF. Let's just load here for a second. Take a look at something here. Back over here in January of 25, so the beginning of the year. Remember when Bitcoin dropped? Okay. When it dropped, you would have made 72%. 72%. Now let's come over here and take a look at January. So let's take a look at January here. Let me wait for this to load here. My apologies. I need my mice to start running faster in the background. I've got like 50 tabs open. That's probably my fault. But nonetheless, let's give this a moment to look at that. Page unresponsive. I've broken the whole machine now. I do want to show this to you guys, so I'll give it a second to load. Okay. If we take a look here back in 2025, where we end up seeing Bitcoin drop, that's the drop we're looking at right here. So the drop that we saw, normal price action ended up dropping about 29%. So let's just call it 30%. Whereas if you were in SBIT, you saw a whole lot more than that. So 30% ended up turning into about 76%. See, there's closer to a 2x, 2.5. What I think could be coming here, guys, and I show this to our members, and I'll reveal this chart just for a moment to kind of show you guys what we do in our membership here, is I know that price action past halving events or past epochs, when you go to the halving event and you add 80 weeks to it, you typically start the bear market. As well as when you have 2 weeks crossing below the 50-week moving average, that's usually where the bear market starts. 80 weeks past the previous halving event has already passed. And we've also broken down below the 50-week moving average twice. We track this. So if the market's going to start moving back down and we are possibly forming a bear flag here, you may want to start looking at taking long positions on BIT. Now, let's talk risk management here for a second. The nice part about this is that let's just say that you have my position here, I have about 54% of my portfolio in cash in the form of buy limits in case we crash with the reverse carry trade taking place. So that leaves me about 46% that I'm in the market, okay? If I were to take, let's say 10% of those buy limits that are in cash and allocate that to SBIT, what's going to happen here is something interesting. If the market goes up, I'm going to be earning on the vast majority of money I have in cryptocurrency if XRP appreciates. But there's this little trade over here that while everything else is collapsing, if we head into a bear market, and I'm not talking you guys got to put 30, 40% here. I'm talking like maybe 5 to 7, 8% of your portfolio. It's a hedge position, right? This hedge position has the potential to increase substantially. So listen to this. If your portfolio is combined of most altcoins we know go down 2 to 3x more than what Bitcoin usually goes down when the market fluctuates. So if you get into SBIT, that is more of an even leverage of what you will make in Bitcoin if Bitcoin goes down compared to what you will lose in your altcoins. Does that make sense? So another way that you can trade this is you can look at this from the perspective of using what we call the Pro Trade Manager. When the Pro Trade Manager, and I'll show you guys my settings here so you can copy this if you want, 15, 20, and I put more/good accuracy in a 2. When you get a red dot here, you can choose to get into SBIT. Just take a small position if you want. This typically will see appreciation in SBIT every time you get a red dot because it is basically called all the peaks of Bitcoin almost every single time, okay? And when I say dollar cost average entry, let's be really honest here, like a dollar cost average, the market didn't go down there that significantly. Dollar cost average, dollar cost average. Okay, obviously all of these positions are in profit now. So what you can do is if you believe the market's topping, which I believe it has, you can take, let's say, $1,000 and make, I always brings back to risk management, split it into 4 sections, guys. Go ahead and the last 4 signals, you could have put $250 here, $250 here, $250 here in SBIT. And you would have started to build a hedge position against the market collapsing by actually making money. Now look at this for a second. If you guys would have, this is theoretical, Bitcoin has dropped about 32% from its high. If you started to I'm not saying you got to time the top. That's the thing. You don't need to time the top on this. If you dollar cost averaged into this move up here, you would have gotten somewhat of a cost basis around this level. You would not have been at the exact bottom here or the bottom here, somewhere around this level. Okay, if you average that out to where the max peak was, or the max drop was, that's 77%. Again, you do not need to time the top. You just dollar cost average into peak levels when, what did I say, guys? When we are in greed, high greed, high greed, extreme greed, or max euphoria, you're just simply dollar cost averaging in, and when you get a red dot, you would have been up 77% on that trade. While Bitcoin in the exact same duration and time frame went down about 32. Again, it's about a 2x leverage. So I thought this is too valuable to not teach you guys publicly here, but also for those of you guys who are in our membership. I will go over more of this in some future forecasts that we do in the coming weeks here. But I thought, you know what? If you sense that the bear market is still ahead and you think the market's going to go down, you just need to set some money aside. I'm using $1,000. You can use $10,000. Split it into 4 portions, okay? And you could even do this. The next 4 times we get a red dot on the Pro Trade Manager, not your financial advisor, but theoretically, you could throw in $2,500 if you're using $10,000 each time you get a red circle. You will probably have the best dollar cost average entries for a short position on Bitcoin, which is really taking a long position on SBIT with a 2x leverage. That is how you guys can make money in a bear market without having to expose yourselves to derivatives or the futures market. Because listen, Kraken has different parameters if you even qualify to trade on leverage. Okay? If you go to Kraken and you simply just trade an ETF, you can just trade that. It's very simple if you have enough years of experience. You just apply for it. You can even trade this on Robinhood. So I'll end this here. I hope this really helps you guys, but genuinely, this is the safest and the best way to make money in a bear market. Grab the Pro Trade Manager, Set your allotment, split it into 4 different sections, and either wait for the next 4 times you get into greed, extreme greed, or max euphoria. Once any of those happen, 25% enter into SBIT. The next red dot, 25% into SBIT. Great. If it moves back down and you make 50%, take some money out. The next red dot comes in. Good. Put another 25% in. Next red dot, or we get back into extreme greed, another 25%. Just take an allotment. Maybe that $1,000 is 10% of your portfolio, and start hedging into a short position if you believe we are heading into a bear market. The worst case that happens is the market goes up and you earn on the remaining 60 to 80 to 90% you've already got going long, if that's how much you have going long. You win pretty much both ways. And if you believe long-term cryptocurrency is going up and you keep your legacy positions there, this is a way where in the meantime, you guys can make money as the market fluctuates down by going long on an inverse Bitcoin ETF. All right, guys. That's all I've got. I hope you guys enjoy this. Here is how you guys can actually get these indicators if you want. Go to tradeconfident.io. There's a link in the description. If you guys become a member, you guys can get $150 off the Pro Trade Manager as well as the market cycle highs and lows. They're already pretty reasonable for our indicators, but we're going to give you $150 off on top of that. If you guys are like, I don't want a membership, that's fine. Use TC50. You guys will get $50 off on each of those. And then every Tuesday and Friday, I come out and actually show you guys how I manage my portfolio, which we are in the 7-figure portfolio. And I will continue to show you guys how I'm trading this market. But I got to give this out to you guys. This is a way where if we're in a bear market and you believe we're in a bear market, you can start making money with this right now. Okay? I love you guys. And all the indicators are available for you. And it'd be cool to see you guys in the future forecast that I do on Friday. If you guys want to join that with the link in the description, all new members get 25% off. All right, guys. God bless. Hope you have a good one. And this was a little sneak peek into what it's like to be in our membership and watch the future forecasts. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good one.